every process has a beginning and an end. And if we ran our presidential election this way, we would still have folks like Newt Gingrich and Michelle Bachmann and Herman Cain in the race. But unfortunately, there comes a part in time when you have to pick people moving forward. And there was 6 people who pulled papers. They all had equal opportunity to file by a deadline to state their case. I have a very difficult time with the fact that we are going to essentially keep this process open just for the sake of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck getting nominated in a write-in election. I think that these candidates in the service clubs can still host their forums, and I'm sure, just being a member of Kiwanis and knowing about the League of Women Voters, that they would be more than willing. I see no need to spend this money. $37,000 is not a lot of money if you're not writing the check. But again, as we agonize over things like library hours being open in between Christmas and New Year's, should we keep it open? No, we decided we were going to close it. Well, then the town manager said no, a couple council people want to keep it open, so we keep it open. But these are the things we're trying to do to save money in these tough economic times. And here we're willing to throw away $40,000 on what's an experiment. I just think it's shameful. I really feel it's shameful. We can debate this all evening, but for me, it comes down to one thing. It comes down to the money, and it comes down to deadlines, a beginning and an end and a filing period. And that's it, regardless of how you feel about any of these candidates and any of the candidates that may have dropped out in, the race. And again, we're acting as if there were 2 candidates that were bullied. I get bullied all the time in this position. I get bullied by developers. I get bullied by what I consider people in the community and other things. And if you cannot make it through the filing period, if you're not strong enough to make it through a filing period through bullyism, you're going to make no kind of council candidate or no kind of council representative. So I don't buy that. I think the newspaper and their editorial was highly unsubstantiated. It read to me like, fiction. There's no proof, no facts. And the bottom line is this: if you have, things in your past, or if you have a certain position, and I personally have to pass up business all the time in the real estate business because I know I'm going to be voting on a topic that's close to one of the projects I'm working on, and I leave money on the table. But these are factors why people may or may not run. And we'll never get to the bottom of all those issues, but we do have 2 people here who have risen to the occasion, who have filed, who have done everything correctly, and I just don't see any reasoning in holding an election for election's sake, just so everybody can go in and check the 2 boxes and pick them, and spending $40,000 more that we don't have to do that. As Council Member Brzezinski said, he said there are other options. Yes, there are other options. But those other options are extremely unlikely and will not happen. And opening the field to more people who didn't play by the rules and filed by the deadline at this point who want to step up is just unfair to the people who do play by the rules. And trying to bring out this debate and rationalize it and rationalize newspaper editorials is just, to me, it's the opposite of the democratic process we're trying to defend. These folks followed the democratic process. So did the other 4 people who pulled their papers. They didn't complete the democratic process. We have 2 candidates in there, and now we're going to waste the taxpayers' money just to prove a point.
Now, please. Councilmember Brzezinski.
That's one opinion. And you're entitled to yours as well. And so am I. I hope that the people who were abusive are found out. I hope that they're exposed. I think it's really time for those people who have taken advantage of the system, who have attempted to circumvent the process, and who have threatened individuals and have caused trauma in our community. I hope they're found out, because I think this is a real violation of our democratic process. And those people who perpetrated this need to feel consequences for this act, I would hope it never happens again. I would hope that this is an isolated incident that happened and we have learned the lesson. But the only way that I think you can actually guarantee a closure on something like this is if those people who acted inappropriately and who acted as bullies are found out. And I hope that that's part of the process as well. You may not like it, but, you know, they say politics is hardball. And it is. So if you're playing hardball, expect to be able to be called out if what you've done is something that's in violation. And I do believe this was extreme violation and very, very inappropriate for this community. Oddly enough, happening on our 125th anniversary. To me, that really is very, very odd that that would be the occurrence at this point in time. I hope that we can move forward, call the question, and conclude.
Okay, I'd really like this to avoid being a back and forth. If you have something new to say, I'm more than